destruction on Gaza, to use lethal weapons of the modern battlefield on a largely defenseless civilian population, is the final phase in the decades-long campaign to ethnically cleanse Palestinians. Privilege and power, especially military power, is a dangerous narcotic. Violence destroys those who bear the brunt of its force, but also those who try to use it to become gods.
On May 14, 1948, Israel was born. It took the US just 11 minutes to formally recognize the newly declared state. But Israel's roots were in European socialism. As the Cold War deepened, America lost interest in a country founded on utopian dreams and colonial tradition. 6 days in the summer of 1967 changed that forever. Israel defeated the combined military force of Egypt, Syria and Jordan and established its dominant military role in the region. America decided to back a winner.
From that point onwards, there was uncritical American support for Israel and its position in the conflict with the Arabs.
Israel was seen as an unsinkable aircraft carrier, a bulwark against both Soviet expansion and Arab nationalism. Over the next 40 years, the US would give $150 billion to Israel, more than half in military assistance. And while a new generation of Israelis adopted American culture as willingly as their leaders accepted aid, neither bought the dividend of peace with Israel's Arab neighbors.
The way it usually works is the United States makes a little push for peace. The Prime Minister of Israel says, "Oh no, not now. This isn't a good time," and the Americans back off.
Moshe Dayan used to say, "Our American friends give us money, they give us arms, and they give us advice. We take the money, we take the arms, but we decline the advice."
Nowhere is this more visible than in the Israeli settlements on the land it occupied during the Six-Day War.
The settlements are the ultimate demonstration of the American weakness.
The Jewish settlements in occupied territories are illegal and an obstacle to peace. But American leaders were too feeble to do anything about it.
Even when Israel embarks on wars that threaten to set the whole region alight, America gives it a free pass. Lebanon in 2006, Gaza last year, were launched with the blessing of the Bush administration.
The United States has failed to draw lines and say, this is a red line and you can't cross it.
But as President Obama faces up to the prospect of a new and aggressively right-wing administration in Tel Aviv, is the 50-year-old special relationship about to be redefined?
The lobby's like a night flower. It blooms in the dark and it dies under sunlight.
Political lobbying is an American tradition. Every major pressure group pays lobbyists to push their agenda. But one of the most feared lobby groups is the American Israel Political Action Committee. How did a private organization with just 100,000 registered members come to have such a stranglehold on U.S. foreign policy? Aipac boasts that it is the most important organization affecting America's relationship with Israel.
Members of Congress, House and Senate, are afraid of Aipac. They believe that Aipac can defeat their chances to be reelected.
And that requires every serious politician to stand up and be counted at Aipac's annual conference.
I know that when I visit Aipac, I'm among friends, good friends.
Aipac has an operating war chest of $60 million. Inside its Washington, D.C. headquarters, 150 full-time staff work to align American foreign policy with Israel's needs. To ensure it controls Congress, they also interview every candidate running in national elections.
They were very tough on me, I must say.
When Harry Lonsdale came to Aipac, its staff made it clear that he would be expected to do whatever Aipac said.
I began to be grilled by them about where I stood on various issues. And after a while, they began to tell me the exact language they wanted me to use. Say it this way, Mr. Lonsdale, not that way.
Saying it Aipac's way unlocks millions of dollars in election contributions from stealth groups, pro-Israel organizations with misleading names.
One of the most prominent ones is called the Delaware Valley PAC. Delaware Valley? All right, that sounds... It has nothing to do with the Delaware Valley. It has to do with the Jordan Valley.
Earl Hilliard found out about the power of Aipac's stealth cash the hard way.
People actually believe that I was involved somehow with 9/11.
Hilliard had been a Democratic congressman for 10 years when he voted against resolutions Aipac had sponsored in Congress. It swiftly backed a rival candidate and organized vicious television ads against Hilliard.
Well, it was an ad that identified me as a friend of Gaddafi, of Saddam Hussein, as well as bin Laden. Well, I lost the election.
But whose interest does Aipac really promote? America's or Israel's? Recently declassified documents show that in 1962, the U.S. Justice Department formally registered the American Zionist Council as an agent of a foreign government, the government of Israel. Shortly afterwards, the AZC turned into Aipac.
It's standard operating procedure to do everything, including breaking the law, if the stakes are high enough.
Those high stakes have led Aipac into espionage.
In July 2004, FBI surveillance caught Larry Franklin, a senior Pentagon analyst, handing over classified defense documents to 2 Aipac officials.
Aipac was then pressing the White House for a war on Iran.
I can't think of anything more potentially damaging than going to war with a country of 70 million people on false pretenses after doing the exact same thing several years earlier with Iraq.
Today, the new Obama administration still appears to be towing the Aipac line.
I will do everything in my power to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. Everything in my power. Israel's security is sacrosanct. It is non-negotiable.
For more than 40 years, US foreign policy has been dictated by Israel's needs. In the UN Security Council, America has vetoed at least 43 resolutions critical of Israel.
President Anwar Sadat of Egypt, he said America has 90% of the cards in the Middle East. What he didn't point out was that it was Israel that was playing the American cards.
The F-16 fighter jets, the Apache attack helicopters, the 250-pound smart GBU-39 bombs are all part of the $3 billion military aid we give to Israel. Palestinians are being killed tonight with American-made weapons. But perhaps our callous indifference to human suffering is to be expected. We, after all, kill women and children on an even vaster scale in Iraq and Afghanistan.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. By the snorting coursers, striking sparks of fire, and scouring to the raid at dawn, then therewith with their trail of dust, cleaving as one the center of the foe. Lo, man is an ingrate unto his Lord, and lo, he is a witness unto that. And lo, in the love of wealth he is violent. Knoweth he not that, when the contents of the graves are poured forth, and the secrets of the breasts are made known, on that day will their Lord be perfectly informed concerning them.